Welcome to the Rise to Shine podcast with Noelle Custis, where we ignite the spark to discover your favorite self. It is time to get real, ladies. Hello there. Welcome to the Rise to Shine podcast. I am your host, Noelle Custis. So lately, I can't stop thinking about the value of time. It's a theme that just keeps coming up and appearing everywhere in conversations with my friends, with other moms, even in these moments of my own reflection that I've been having recently. But what truly struck me was when my mom came over and we had this real heart-to-heart conversation recently. She came over to drop something off, and we were sitting in my living room, and she was just very emotional. And she started to reflect on her life. And she was telling me that for 25 years, she's dedicated herself to caring for my grandma. And it's been her purpose, it's been her rhythm, it's been her reality. But now, as my grandma has just turned 93 by the time we will be playing this episode, my mom is starting to grapple with something that has kind of just really made her stop and think. And that is this realization that time is kind of slipping away. And she told me how she just can't picture her life without her role as a caretaker, but is also becoming deeply aware of her own time on this earth. And she wants to do everything in her power to live as long as she can, to be able to live with purpose and be able to enjoy retirement, see her grandchildren grow up, see our lives unfold. And I see how this is an awareness for her that's starting to shift some decisions that she's making. And I can see her becoming more intentional. And it's this really beautiful thing to witness. I mean, it's a hard topic to talk about with your parents. I'm sure you can relate to that. But about a year ago, she had taken my 8-week course of my Shine by Design, and I have seen her evolve so much since then. She has been trying not to live on autopilot. Let me say that again. She's been really making an effort not to live just on autopilot. And she's becoming more present, more mindful about how she spends her days, and really more focused on what truly matters. So, between that conversation and everything else going on, the fires here in Los Angeles, I'm in Southern California, a couple hours away, that has been a huge topic of conversation. Friends that are facing health issues, it just made it crystal clear that I was supposed to record this episode because I realize so much, and I really want to share this message with you, that time is the most valuable resource we have, yet it's the one thing that we take for granted the most. So today, I want to ask you this really profound question. What would you do if you fully embrace the fact that tomorrow is not guaranteed? I want you to really sit with that for a minute. And then we're going to talk about the value of time, not just as a concept, but as the fuel that drives the decisions that we make. Because if we keep waiting, we may miss the chance to create a life that truly comes from love and abundance rather than lack and fear. Because here's the thing, we all get the same 24 hours in a day. No one gets extra, no one gets less. It doesn't matter how much money you make, where you live, what your job title is. Time is the one resource that we all have an equal measure with. But how we spend it defines the kind of life we live. And that's what I've been thinking about a lot lately, especially after these conversations I've had. My mom, for example, she's been reflecting on her own life as she watched my grandma age into her 90s. And she's starting to really see time differently, When you're in your 70s, the lens you look through changes. She reminded me of that, but I said, you don't have to remind me because seriously, even at 51, I'm feeling it. Because what happens is it's not about the endless time, like when we're in our 20s or in our teens. We think we have endless time, but it really becomes about making every moment count. Because my grandma has lived an extraordinary 93 years, and I hope that she gets to live for several more. And while her body is slowing down, her presence, her wisdom, and even the way she tells her stories have reminded all of us the richness of life when you've used your time well. It's really about choosing how to use it. And then there's my friends who have been facing unexpected health challenges. One of them just got diagnosed with something that has completely shifted her priorities. Things that used to seem important become different to you. They become trivial. She stopped waiting for the perfect moment to do what she loves. And I see this happen with people that get a diagnosis. They start to take action now. They don't wait anymore because they realize that there's no guarantee of tomorrow. And then, of course, let's not forget the LA fires, seeing how quickly life can be turned upside down. That's been another sobering reminder of how, in an instant, life can change. It's in those lessons that we have this reality check because none of us know how much time we have. But what we do know is how we choose to spend it. We can either keep putting things off, letting fear or perfectionism hold us back, or we can start showing up for ourselves and our lives right now. So I want you to think about this. How are you spending your 24 hours today? Are you using it in a way that aligns with the life you want? Or are you letting it slip away? One unintentional moment at a time. One unintentional moment at a time. The way we choose to spend our life matters. And when we start to see time as the gift that it truly is, it opens the door to living a life filled with intention. We start to live our life with more love, with more purpose. So, I'm going to share how shifting our mindset from fear to abundance can completely change the way we experience our days. You ready? Let's get started. Okay. So, have you, asking a lot of questions today, have you ever found yourself waiting for the perfect moment to do something? To start the project you've been dreaming about, to call that old friend, to say something to someone that's been in your heart for a while. Well, I'm going to give you a hard truth right now. As my friend Lachelle says, truth of the hug, waiting for the perfect moment often leads to regret. Perfection doesn't exist. Life is always going to be messy. It's always going to be unpredictable and imperfect. And if we're waiting for the stars to align, we'll spend our time watching them instead of living under them. I have spoken with countless women that have had regrets. Heck, I have had regrets. Not for the things that they tried, but for the things that they didn't try, or the words that were left unspoken, the opportunities that they let slip by, the risks they were too scared to take. And I get it. Fear is so beyond powerful, but so is love. Fear is powerful, but so is love. And when we choose to live from a place of love and abundance instead of fear and scarcity, it changes everything. Living with love and abundance means recognizing that time is a gift, and it's choosing gratitude over worry, faith over doubt, and action over hesitation. It's waking up each day and asking yourself, how can I spend my time in a way that feels aligned with my soul and purpose? So, I'm going to just share a really, really quick story because a friend of mine recently lost her mom. And in the months leading up to her mom's passing, she spent every free moment with her, soaking up every conversation, even recording conversations. She held on to every laugh, every hug. And she told me, and I just loved this, that she made a conscious decision to focus on what really mattered. And now looking back, she has zero regrets. She didn't wait. She didn't let fear or busyness get in the way of spending that time with her mom. But I've also heard the flip side of the opportunities that were missed. A woman who didn't tell her dad that she loved him before he passed. I mean, these are the stories that I do hear. And those are the stories that remind us of the cost of waiting. And here's the truth, waiting also comes from fear. Fear that we're going to fail, fear that we're going to get it wrong, that we're not ready. But what if we flipped that script? What if we chose to believe we're all ready enough, that we don't need perfect conditions to start living the life that we want? Because the moment that we let go of fear and start making decisions from that place of love and abundance, everything is going to start to shift. And we stop worrying about what we can't control and we start to focus on the things that we can. So I want to ask you, what's one thing you've been wanting to do? What's one truth you've been waiting to speak? And what would happen if you chose love over fear and took the action today? Does it kind of freak you out a little bit? Like, are you like, okay, well, really? Like, really? Like today? Today? Well, I'm going to just kind of go over with you really quickly how to take this mindset and turn it into tangible steps. Because knowing the value of time is one thing, but living it is completely another thing. We can say it all day long. How many of you have been there where you've lost a friend or you've missed an opportunity and you're like, I'm not going to take time for granted anymore. It's just such a huge reminder. And we live that out for like a week or two. And then we get right back into the mundane. We get back into our routines and we don't do the things that we really want to be doing. Because here's the thing, it all starts with one bold choice at a time. My word of the year, bold. It's a bold choice. So let's turn it into action and let's go over 3 different things you can do. Number 1 is define your priorities. Take a moment to pause and ask yourself, what truly matters to me right now? Not tomorrow, not 5 years from now, but today. What are the things? Who are the people? What are the experiences that light you up and make you feel like life is meaningful to you? And here's a quick exercise that you can try when the podcast is over is grabbing a piece of paper and writing down your top 3 priorities. And then ask yourself, am I spending my time in alignment with those priorities? And if the answer is no, that's okay. No judgment. It's just the first step to shifting how you use your time. And then number 2, take small, bold steps. I'm going to use my word a lot this year. Take that bold step. You don't have to change your whole life in a day. We don't expect that. Just start small. Maybe it's reaching out to someone you've been meaning to call. Maybe it's carving out 20 minutes to work on something that's been sitting on your heart. Or maybe, here's mine a lot recently. It's as simple as saying no to something that doesn't serve me anymore in order to say yes to something that does. And here's the thing about boldness, it doesn't have to be big. The word is such a big word, but the step, the action doesn't have to be big. It just has to move you forward. One small intentional step at a time is how you create a life that aligns with what matters most. And number 3, embrace presence. This one is so important, you guys. Life isn't lived in the future or in the past. It's lived right here in the present moment. But how often do we find ourselves rushing through our days, distracted by what's next or what is weighing us down by what has already happened? Being present is about creating memories that last. It's about putting your phone down and really listening to your kids. My son now, even though I think I'm multitasking, my son will completely stop talking until I put my phone down and I am eyeball to eyeball. So as soon as I hear that pause, I'm like, oops. And then he starts talking. That's the signal for me because I do it too. It's also about savoring that morning cup of coffee, even if it's just for a few minutes, instead of rushing out and it's spilling all over us. It's about finding the joy in the little moments that make up our day. So, right now, we're going to practice this. And all we're going to do is we're going to pause and we're going to take a deep breath. And you can do this anytime throughout the day. And then I want you to look around. I want you to notice the details. Say a quiet thank you in your mind because presence is a gift to yourself and to the people you love. So here's what I want to leave you here today with. Time is the only resource we can't make more of. It's not about having time, it's about making time for what lights you up and what matters most. So if there is something that you've been waiting to do, don't wait, don't put it off. Take one step today. I promise you'll thank yourself later. You'll thank yourself tonight when you go to bed. And God willing, when you wake up in the morning, you'll thank yourself again because your time is now. Spend it wisely, spend it well. And thank you for spending your precious time with me today. I believe there are no accidents. You are here for a reason. You are meant to listen to this episode. And it truly means so much to me. And if this episode sparked something in you, I would love to hear about it. You can leave a review. You can tag me on social media, share it with a friend. All of it matters. And I'm going to put in a little plug. If you've been on the fence about joining the Glow Up School or have felt that tug to say yes to yourself lately, let me remind you, now is your time. The Glow Up School is your space to rediscover your identity, reignite your purpose, and create joy in midlife every single day so you can walk in confidence. And we share these tools. We go deeper in this, and it is such a beautiful community because we're all in it together. There are experts that come alongside of you for each of the topics every month. It's so good, you guys. And the community just keeps getting bigger, and we're building these beautiful humans that are just going to have such a ripple effect because what we do, our kids are watching, our families are watching, the way we interact with coworkers and our friends, it all changes everything. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. It's here right now. You can head over to our website. You can check out the Glow Up School link. Everything will be in the show notes. You can go right to rise to shine, the number 2.co and check it all out. You deserve it. And I can't wait to see you glow. All right, you guys, until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and know, I'm going to say this a little differently today. Know the best is here today. All right, bye, you guys. Have a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining me here today. Your presence means the world to me. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider leaving a rating and review, and don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Head to the show notes and let's connect. Rise to Shine Co. is ready to support you in coaching, collaboration, life tips, or even a coffee chat. Until next time, keep shining, my friends.